What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Knicks Deli, baby. Yo, what's going on, KD community? I know it's been a while since I've been back, but we are here. The first live in like 2 years. So I want to thank you for joining me. If you're here to Knicks Deli for the first time, I want to welcome you all. My name is Shia, and everybody eats here at Knicks Deli. Just a quick explanation of our format. Format is 4 items on the Knicks menu. There's the bacon, egg, and cheese. And that's when we look at 3 players who together combine to make for one of the best sandwiches in the world. Okay, the bacon, egg, and cheese. So we're going to look at 3 players who had impact that way. Next on the menu is the dollar slice. New York has the best pizza in the world. So we're going to talk about who was that dollar slice, who was the stabilizing factor that helped us get this victory. Then we're going to look at the Arizona iced tea. Usually that's a player that you can't have the other ones if you ain't got this person, who gets hot on the jump shot and all of that. So we're going to talk about who are those players that helped us get this phenomenal victory, and put us in the championship of the NBA Cup. So much I want to talk to y'all about. There is so much built in here today. Last night I was so excited, but I was tired. I had a long day, but I was just like, listen, it's going to be snowing. Nobody ain't going nowhere while it's snowing. So why not start the live, while everybody is here getting their coffee. Get your coffee or your tea ready, and let's eat, all right? The Knicks last night didn't just win the NBA Cup Semifinals. We controlled that squad. We controlled this game. It was a beautiful thing to see. If you are a Knicks fan from the 90s, I mean, we always talk about the 90s, right? I know this current generation is tired of hearing us old heads talk about the 90s as if nobody could be beaten from that time. But what we loved about that was there was a consistency in winning. There was a consistency in winning for us at that time. And although we ran into the buzzsaw, which was Michael Jordan, there was an expectation that we went into every game expecting to win. And that's exactly what this team feels like. There was really probably 1 or 2 moments where I was just like, I don't like this momentum swing. I think I need to turn the channel for a little bit, and then get back on track. In the 90s, every game felt like a heart attack. I'm not even going to lie. There was an expectation of winning, but every game, we used to call it the cardiac Knicks. It just felt like, man, you got to put us through this type of pressure. That's why when you talk about Knicks fans today, especially the new ones, they don't understand why we're so loyal. They don't understand why, if the team was down all those years, why we stuck with them. It's because we've been forged in fire. Okay, we've been forged in fire before. So we know, wait it out. Pressure creates diamonds. That's why we're tough as we are. Okay, but last night, even going into the game, we're going to talk about it. I'm getting ahead of myself. But we got a lot to get into, from the opening possessions to the final form. I got my notes up top. So if I'm looking up top, those are my notes. This game felt intentional. We were poised. We felt like a team that understood the moment and rose to it. I was seeing that Mike Brown had his pregame little speech for the squad. Look, I had all doubts about Mike Brown when we brought him in here. I thought that he got his bread and butter only on the stars that he coached, from LeBron to Kobe or whoever. You know what I mean? I thought that's where he made his bones. And that could very well be the case. But you need to learn how to manage those stars and how to get the team together and how to make sure everybody's on the same page. And he gave a little bit of a pep talk, but he gave the type of pep talk that you give to championship experienced teams. The slight edge. I mean, he gave the type of pep talk where you don't have to coach effort. You don't have to coach effort. You got to coach the mental part of the game, just to get them from here, to get them from good to great. And that's what I saw last night, and we rose to the occasion. Now with the final set for Tuesday, we know who our opponents are, them damn Spurs. And I told you, if you're new to this live and you're finding me the first time, go check out my channel. Plenty of good jewels over there at Knicks Deli. We keep leftovers, baby. All the leftovers are good, okay? But go check out my video on Wembanyama. I made a year ago. I said the New York Knicks have a 3-year window. We need to take every opportunity. I don't care if people say, oh, the Pacers are down. Nobody said that about us. Nobody said that when we had all those injuries. Nobody makes excuses for the New York Knicks. We have a 3-year window to get it right and to get a championship or 2 or 3. Because when Wembanyama gets a squad around him, and it looks like he already has many of the core component pieces, when they mature and start really believing that he is that guy, it might be a wrap for the league for the next 15 years. So I'm looking forward to Tuesday because we get a chance to test our chops by facing that cat and chopping that tree down. And we ready for it. We got the squad for it. But New York stands 1 win away from that hardware. And the performance against Orlando is exactly why. And that's what we're going to cover today here in Knicks Deli, baby. So who gets the bacon of the bacon, egg, and cheese here in Knicks Deli? And of course, who consistently has the bacon on lockdown here in Knicks Deli is our guy, the Brundertaker. Come on, Cap. The Brundertaker.
Like the video, subscribe, baby.
Listen, like the video, subscribe. I got to get used to my buttons. I'm all live, man, for the first time. So I got to get used to this as well. The Brundertaker gets the bacon. Yo, chat, 40 points. Do you not realize this man had like the flu? If you watched his pregame comments, the man was hoarse. He was sniffling. The man went out there and dropped the easy 40 points. 40 points, no wasted dribbles, no panic. Brunson dictated the tempo. He absolutely dictated the tempo like a veteran closer does. Every Orlando push was answered calmly and strategically and surgically. It's a beautiful thing to watch, man. At this point, I don't think we take it for granted. I know we know who we have. I know we know what we have. But the purpose of this tournament and one of the hidden gems of this tournament is that the league is watching. And you hear it in the commentators. You even heard Dirk at the end of the game say, when it comes to Brunson, I really didn't know you had this. 16 points. And when you went to New York, and I'm thinking New York, and think about the mindset. This was all the superstars thinking this way. So I was happy to see somebody like Dirk staying at Hall of Famer champion. While the Heat guy, Haslam, he was there. Blake was there. You know what I mean? All of those cats was there. But Dirk said when nobody is going to admit, when you think about New York, you think pressure. You think the pressure to perform. You think, how can anybody, only the top tier of the superstars could really be successful there. But in this past generation, the top tier of the superstars, they were too brittle to go there. They didn't want that heat. They didn't want that smoke. They didn't want that challenge of bringing it out the doldrum. So the New York Knicks had to get creative, and they had to go get a player who had the potential and who had the heart and who had the fiber and the fabric to be successful there. And I know it's a sweet moment when Jalen, with all of his respect that he has for Dirk, he sits there and he listens to Dirk, and kudos to Dirk for admitting that. I didn't think you had it, bro. While I was watching and I didn't think you had it to go out there and to do your own thing. Sometimes all you need to do is step aside and give somebody an opportunity. So I know it was sweet justice for him to hear that from Dirk, and kudos for Dirk to be honest and give him that as a Hall of Famer to a future Hall of Famer. The Knicks go as Brunson goes. And in this moment, he looked finals ready. I'm super big on what the body language is. That's why Julius frustrated me so much. Bro, I mean, you're a beast, yes. You can score that basketball, yes. But the critical component that New Yorkers look for, more than your production, because look at the case and examples with John Starks. What was he? 1 of 11 in the finals. Your production doesn't always have to be high end, but do we feel that you are giving your all out there? Do we feel that you rocking with the spirit of the city? So that energy is important. And you can say what you want about Brunson. We know we put our superstar against anybody, and he's bringing that New York energy. He'll tap and smile maybe 2 games after, but when he walks onto the floor, his energy is different, and the team's energy is different as a result of it. They know their star, they know their captain, they know their leader's going to come through for them. And I love that. When they walked onto the floor, they looked like they had one thing in mind: finish the job. Finish the job. One thing I was concerned about, both with Mike Brown, but also with Josh Hart. When he first came in, it seemed like he played too much. And it was like that was his personality, and he was always joking. It was like he was the funny guy, and back in the day, used to say the straight guy and the funny guy. Straight guy meaning the serious guy, and the funny guy who was the comic relief. And that's what it seemed. And it seemed like I was just like, damn, we got a comedy show? Or these cats going to help us get out of these doldrums? But you notice Josh Hart's energy is changing too. His energy is changing. You know, he walks out there with the same level of energy, like they know how to win championships. They know the mentality you need to have. And if you Batman, I'll be your Robin. I don't care. I'll be your Commissioner Gordon. I'll be whoever you need me to be in order to get this championship. And that's what, man, I'm telling you, Brunson was on one. Tit for tat. Shout out to Jalen Suggs, man. Shout out to Jalen Suggs, man, because he was out there balling too. He wanted to take on that challenge. And Orlando's going to be a problem. The only thing that I have confidence in right now is that Banchero, he doesn't realize how good he is right now. He doesn't realize how good he is right now. I'll talk about body language, man. I'm an expert on body language. I don't care. I'm an expert on body language. He would rather blend in. He would rather blend in right now because he's a young player, still getting his feet grounded in this league. He would rather blend in right now and make no waves. He'd rather go out there and drop his 25 to 30, and even his scoring output is a little set back. And it could be he's still gaining his confidence after coming off of an injury. That could be it. He's a young player. But the moment he starts getting his confidence in this league, he's also going to be a problem. So we are not sleeping on Orlando. Obviously, they took the first 2 games, and I think we split. So we had 2-2 now. So we know what they're capable of doing. But he's going to be a problem once he realizes his skill set and how he could dominate the league also. But we don't care about them ninjas right now. We care about us, okay? And Brunson stepped in there. He wanted to let people know this is what it is. He also understands the magnitude of this stage. But when we first brought this tournament in, everybody was just like, what are the pros and cons? Go back to my videos. I was talking about how it's beneficial because sometimes the league used to create the superstars. And as long as we could remember as Knicks fans, we watched Jalen Brunson night in and night out. We watched him night in and night out. So we know what superstars look like. And even last night with Dirk talking, he still referred to him as a star. Blake Griffin still tried to point out weaknesses in his game. But the moment Shai Gilgeous-Alexander popped up, oh, superstar, they still don't believe. And kudos, because Shai did it and got a ring in that process. It will be the moment the Knicks get a ring on Brunson's watch, they'll have no choice but to call him what he is. But we don't got to wait that long. We know what it is. And it's tournaments like this that brings in the casual fan and introduces them to the style of play that we have. They said, I think I heard them talking, they was talking about how the Knicks, and they was just like, oh, they're too slow. Even Blake Griffin was talking about, oh, he holds on to the ball this long. That's why we know they haven't watched any games this season. This is the first time they will have an opportunity in person to watch the New York Knicks play. And Brunson had to kind of steer them that way. He said, I understand. Look, I understand the rules. I understand the game. I have to make adjustments. But they didn't watch one game of the New York Knicks from the beginning to the end because they didn't know our style of play is completely different. It's faster. They were flabbergasted out at how quickly we would score after the team scored, how we were piling up points that way. They were flabbergasted at how comfortable we looked playing that way. So I know I spent a lot of time on the bacon, but come on, it's out, Captain, goddammit. Shout out to Jalen Brunson, the mother flipping bacon of the bacon, egg, and cheese. All right? Let me take a moment and be like, yo, shout out to the chat. Hold on. Let me see where y'all are in the chat. Yo, what's going on? Let's go, big task at hand. Welcome, baby. You know OKC is scared of us. Welcome, welcome. He also says Brunson will not be denied. You see it, bro. You see it. The man was fighting a bug. His voice, he was losing his voice. You know what I mean? You could tell he was sick. Man, we got one more game. One more game, bro. And I can't wait because I'm not gonna sit it and try to clown LeBron. They tried to clown LeBron when they won that cup the initial year, right? It was just like, oh, we don't hang nothing but championship banners. LeBron was in there breaking up champagne, pouring over the players. They was jumping. You know what I mean? Like it was a tournament that they won the first year out. And then they tried to clown them when they got eliminated or they didn't make the playoffs or they got eliminated in whatever round that year. They were just like, oh, his highlight was winning. I don't care. If it's the league starting this type of tournament, let's celebrate like it's 1999. When's the last time we won something? Atlantic Division banners? I would argue that this one would be more like prevalent because it's an award moment that the league offers. Middle of the season. It shows you that you got to be engaged. You have to continue to pile up the points and score. You have to show the type of team you are at the early part of the season. Usually, it used to be the case that teams play their best basketball after the All-Star break. This is a moment where you have to take into consideration there is no coasting. So it is an absolute genius initiative that the NBA has started. And we got one more game and how we play. Because if they beat OKC with 17-foot Wembanyama and the New York Knicks pull it off, yeah, they got to talk about us for the next 2 or 3 days. And when they reference the cup, they got to mention the New York Knicks as the third or the fourth team to win it. So come on. Look, let them talk, Knicks fans. Stay focused. Stay locked in. And then the last point, my guy, BK Esquire, what's good with you? He said Brunson played a masterful game, 25 in the first, 2 assists, second half, 15 points, 6 assists. Bro, look, they don't know about us, but they're going to find out. They're going to find out soon enough. They learn in the day, so it was good. It's a good win to see. Yo, our egg goes to our boy THUNDERKAT, Big Purr, Big Bodega, Karl-Anthony Towns, baby. Karl-Anthony Towns, yo, listen, I know that the chatter is out there about Giannis. I absolutely know that the chatter is out there about Giannis. But I'm going to argue. Giannis can't really do what Cat does either. You know what I mean? Cat's vision in terms of being a passing big man is crazy. I mean, it's a natural fit for the type of offense that we run. He could be at the top of the key and make passes that you don't see people make. You know what I mean? His vision is crazy. His power game this season is disrespectful. And that's what we need in New York. We need disrespectful power players. You know what I mean? He tried to dunk on a Magic player last night, bro. And I love the one thing about Prime, watching it on Prime, they got great angles. So if you watched it in the graphic angle, bro, it felt like you was playing 2K. But the angle they had was you were right behind him. You could see him look at Jonathan Isaac and then make the decision to go. And when he tried to throw it on him, bro, it was disrespectful. And right now, at this point in the season, technically the early part of the season, Cat got a full highlight tape of posterizing people in this league. So nobody can go with that argument that he's a soft player. You know what I mean? Only thing is he still got to get his rebounding up. But even that, bro, his stat line last night was 29 points on 11 shots. How efficient. What level of elite efficiency planet are you on, Cat? Are you on? But the context matters here. This was Thunderkat Unleashed. Thunderkat Unleashed. I like that. They mention it. I call him Big Purr. That's my guy, Big Purr. Like, what up, Big Purr? It was Thunderkat Unleashed. Physical finishes, y'all. And the man around the basket. One thing I used to love about watching Eddie Curry play. Shout out to Eddie Curry. When we got Eddie Curry, man, you talk about his weight or whatever have you. Every pass that somebody gave him, Marbury said anybody can throw any pass and the man's going to catch it. In basketball, that's soft hands around the basket. And if you don't know the difference between soft hands and hard hands, pause, New Orleans know well. Sometimes Mitch Robinson, you know what I mean? Where it's a turnover waiting to happen. And he got a soft touch around the rim. He makes perfect reads. When Brunson bent the defense, Towns broke it. This is why pairing a dominant interior scorer with a cerebral guard absolutely works. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, when we were talking about getting Karl-Anthony Towns, I'm like, I don't want that soft ninja here. He's soft. He is soft. But I was fooling myself. He came in and he seamlessly made that transition and adjusted to New York. He is New York, baby. He's New Jersey. Okay, we know. All right. So if you know. So the first part of the cheese goes to my guy, Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm sorry, the egg goes to my guy, Karl-Anthony Towns. But I'm gonna talk about the cheese as well. And we got to give it to the defensive demon, baby. OG Anunoby. We got to give it to OG Anunoby, y'all. OG Anunoby had 24 points and relentless defense. Bro, where we are as a team is stupid right now because we're getting individual performances from players who are doing at a high level what they're known for. Players who are doing at a high level what they're known for. We got defensive wings. They are defensive demons. We have one of the best, if not the best, three-point shooting center, offensive shooter in the league. And he's doing that at a high level. We have a superstar point guard, scoring a scoring savant. You know what I mean? With the elite footwork of a Tim Duncan in a point guard body. He does that at a high level. We got Josh Hart, who is like the elite example of a Swiss Army knife. And he does that. Everybody that we have in our starting lineup is doing what they're doing at an elite level. And we're seeing it on the floor. My man OG, stay entering and dominating the passing lanes. What are we talking about? The steals he was making last night was crazy. And on the defensive end, we just talking defense. We're not even talking about somebody who can reliably hit the three-point shot from the corner. No shots, RJ. I know I keep saying no shots, but I'm always taking shots because he couldn't hit it. Those teams, nobody could hit the three-point shot from the corner. How do you guard a team where everybody's an offensive threat? How do you guard a team where everybody's an offensive threat? It's tough. So as much as, yeah, I would be cheering if we got Giannis, but I'll also be confident that Leon in some way, shape, or form and the cap guard, they're figuring out a way to make sure it's not an imbalance, or they've made that move with the determination that this may not be the best year, or we could still sustain our success even if we brought him on. But this team right now, nobody in the league is built like we are. Nobody in the league has a team that's built like we do. I don't care. Nobody. I mean, OKC is kind of stupid. Let me not be disrespectful. But let's get back to OG, the defensive demon. 24 points and relentless defense all night. All night. OG erased all of Orlando's comfort. Period. Paolo was working for everything he got. Everything he got. Lanes, they vanished. The help rotations were always on time last night. Yo, we looked like we were focused on one thing only. And OG's impact doesn't always scream, but it decides games. It absolutely decides games. Only one part I didn't like was that last game against Orlando when Bane hit him with that hard foul. OG was just like, bro, we good? What did I do? I'm like, bro, don't say that. Don't say that. Get up and drop kick that cat. So OG Anunoby gets the cheese of the bacon, egg, and cheese. Shout out to all of them cats. Well, let me see.
Everybody.
Oh, Lord. Hold on. Okay. We're going to stop it with the sound effects, but OG Anunoby gets the cheese. So Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby. It's the bacon, egg, and cheese here in Knicks Deli, baby. Let me run to the chat real quick and see what y'all talking. You know, big task at hand. Let's go. Hold on for a second. Says Noel, bro, of course. You know what I mean? I don't want to shut. Look, I don't want to do Noel dirty, right? I don't want to do him dirty, but I have to. You know, that cat had hands of stone, man. We talking Roberto Duran, hands of stone? Nah, that man Noel had hands of stone, man. So big task at hand also says the big Thunderkat with the dunk. Giannis who? Yo, bro, I'm telling you right now, we need to stay focused. Let's let the front office do what the front office does. We got to stay focused, Knicks fans, okay? If that happens, let's try. Right now, it's not many times you can point at our front office and say they didn't do the right things to put us in the right position, okay? And you could understand the moves that they did make that went awry. You could see where they were trying to go. Pretty much by the time Leon Rose inherited the team, nobody wanted to touch us with a 10-foot pole. Nobody wanted to touch us, y'all. And he incrementally pieced this thing together. Everybody that has some smoke for Tibbs laid the foundation, and he got us where we needed to be. And Leon Rose had to go on as enough to be able to part ways with his friend amicably. Tibbs will always have a invisible statue here at Madison Square Garden for the work that he did with us. But I'm telling you, man, you know, we're doing something different. We are doing something different. I love it. I love it. So, yeah, so let me get on to who gets the dollar slice here at Knicks Deli. And a dollar slice absolutely will go to Mitchell Mother Flippin' Robinson. Shout out to Mitch Rob, who gets the dollar slice of the game. Okay? Mitch Rob, let me see if I can pull up the dollar slip. There we go. Mitchell Robinson gets the dollar slice of the game. Mitchell Robinson had 17 minutes that he played. But in his 17 minutes, and we're noticing a pattern with Mitch, no matter the limited minutes, it's maximum performance. He had 17 minutes he played last night, 4 blocks. The man had total paint control. Orlando Magic, they eventually just stopped attacking the rim because the price was too high. That's the type of deterrence basketball that we've been getting from Mitch. Even Mitch at this point in time knows exactly what we need from his role. And there was a period of time where he was making a little bit of grumbling, as well as Josh Hart. Grumbling because they weren't unsure of what his role was. Maybe a season or two back, he was talking about, you know, wanting to be a little bit more offensive, wanting to shoot threes. We started seeing him in the offseason. We don't need that from you. People just was upset because Tom Thibodeau was making it clear what we need from you is to be our defensive anchor. That person that's going to be in the middle, that's going to make you know that when you play in the New York Knicks, you're going to have a tough time trying to score in the paint. You're going to have a tough time trying to drive in the paint. What I love about our squad also is we got wings. Our wings are unafraid to go up and challenge and try to block a shot. You got go-go gadget arms and my boy Mikal Bridges. You got OG Anunoby who will rise up and nobody's afraid to get dunked on. You know what I mean? You got my guy money making Mitch. Mitch better have my money. All three of them cats, if you drive in, don't expect to get an easy layup. Don't expect to get an easy dunk. It's not going down like that. So when we talk about the dollar slice money making Mitch better have my money, big Mitch. Man, that man gets the dollar slice because that level of stability that he offers us, knowing that the last line of defense is going to be him. I think we take that for granted. You know, look, these are humans. And a lot of times the Knicks fans, we're passionate. We want our team to be the perfect team because we never seen our team win a championship. So we don't know what a formula looks like for our squad. So we always lock in on the weaknesses rather than what other fan bases lock in when they play us. If you listen to other fan bases, which is always why I try to listen to the opposing teams play-by-play callers, because we take for granted seeing our team play all the time. They be shook. They be like, oh, man, if it looked like at some point in time in the game, Jalen Brunson had tweaked something, the other fan bases be like, yes, thank God. Hopefully he's out because they fear him being on the court. What Jalen Brunson does on the court is bring about a certain fear in the opposing team's fan base. Don't get it twisted. Nobody wants to see Big Mitch in the game. Nobody wants to see him healthy, which is why what the Knicks are doing, managing him this season, is critically important. Stop criticizing the squad. Don't think because they're pulling back on his minutes that he's dispensable. That's not what's happening. They're trying to ensure that, and they see it, no matter how small the minutes are that he gets, he maximizes it. They're going to keep doing that for 82 games. If I give you 17 minutes and the level of production you provide in those 17 minutes is more than a big on another team playing all 48, and I could do this for 82 games, how fresh will you be for the playoff run? The Knicks are playing 17 steps ahead of everybody else, or at least of 80 to 85% of the rest of the teams in this league. Knicks fans, we got to be able to open our eyes and see it. We can't lag behind like those other teams. Mitch is a mother flipping problem for other teams, for this league. So Mitch gets the dollar slice of the game. Who gets the Arizona iced tea? And the Arizona iced tea absolutely goes to Josh mother flipping Hart. Josh mother flipping Hart gets the Arizona iced tea. Lionheart, the hustle king, baby. The hustle king gets the Arizona iced tea. I'm going to drop another video later today. I'm going to drop another video on Josh Hart because he needs his own video. What he is doing, bro, what Josh Hart is doing this season and what he's did the last season in the playoffs before the last was, bro, him coming to New York has been transformative. Transformative. Because prior to coming to New York, you really only heard about Josh Hart with his memes. You know what I mean? When the ball bounced and hit Harden in the face and he had that look on his face like that, that's really what you knew Josh Hart for. Almost like, once again, like a clown, like comedy relief. You know, he was one of the players that got traded when LeBron shipped all them boys out to bring in AD. You know what I mean? Like you never really heard, he was a journeyman, but put him in the right system next to the right star who happens to be his boy. When we brought him in, he served as like a safety blanket for Jalen Brunson to cover him and endure in this bright New York spotlight. But what he's been able to do over the last couple of seasons has been Draymond-like, has been Iguodala-like, where your contributions to us winning and you just willing to do anything and everything is crazy. He's already climbing record books in New York, not being a primary piece. It's Rodman-like, where right now you look at today's generation and you talk about the Chicago Bulls with today's generation, they'll argue, well, Jordan had Rodman. You don't realize Rodman was Josh Hart back then. Although his rebounding was Hall of Fame. It was legendary. The man was pulling down like 16 rebounds, 20 rebounds in a game. Okay? But his little effort plays, the steal, the guarding, he was guarding Shaq. And it reminds you when Josh Hart is in there battling Giannis. Even Shaq, this era, said Giannis is him in this era. And Josh Hart is out there battling. So why isn't he the Dennis Rodman of this era? I'm telling you, all the stories and narratives are going to change if the New York Knicks win a championship this season. Everybody's going to be looked at in a different light. Josh Hart's efforts will be studied. His performance in that playoff when all of those injuries happened and he was carrying us, that's legendary-ish. And last night was critical. His fingerprints were everywhere last night. Everywhere. Rebounds, steals, ball movement, energy. He didn't need to score big. In order to matter big. He didn't need to score big in order to matter big. This was connective tissue basketball. Josh Hart is changing the game for us, y'all. You noticed it the moment we put him in. Listen, when Tibbs was here and when we had that lineup, for some reason, it just seemed like we was running a small lineup that would be on many nights a disadvantage for us. Why doesn't it seem like it's a disadvantage for us this season? Why does it seem like it's normal this season? Because we're dominating. It was a slight tweak that we needed to incorporate. We never go into the game thinking we're undersized. We don't. It's crazy because he plays bigger than what his height is. Josh Hart is a flipping problem, y'all. So look for that video that I'm gonna do because the video is titled, "What is Josh Hart becoming?" We gotta start looking at that and asking out. His stat line is crazy. The man be having triple doubles. Come on, man. What is he becoming? Under the radar, in the shadows of the bright light, which is Jalen Brunson. It's crazy. So shout out to the Hustle King. Shout out to the Hustle King, Josh Hart. Now, next on the menu here at Knicks Deli, it's the Knickstromy of the game. But before I move forward with that, let me see what y'all talking in here. I see the chat is on one. So I'm going to bounce over here real quick and see. Do me a favor, y'all. Like this video. Like this video. As you come in, I want to welcome you. Good morning. Thank you for taking the time, spending the time here at Knicks Deli. We're going to feed you. Everybody eats. So we're going to be going to the Knickstromy of the game in a moment. And that's usually where we look at what was a run or a moment of the game or a sequence of the game that really stood out. But let me get some of these, some of your comments out of the way as well. Thank you for bearing with me. This is my first time on live in a minute, y'all. I know I've been promising, man, but life has been kind of crazy. Shout out to you all who know my dad is, his health is really in a challenging spot right now. I hear you. I get your messages. I appreciate you. Prayers to you. I accept all prayers from my pops. Actually, with this Knicks thing, this has been tremendous and helping serve as a distraction. But my family appreciates it. I shared with them as well. Shout out to you all. Bro, all right, y'all are doing your thing in the chat, so I may only get to a couple of these. So Big Task at Hand says, damn, I'm running with that. Mitch better have my money. Yo, you got to, man. You got to. My boy Crime's dad, I see you too. I see you too. Shout out to you. We got Skills V who also says, even Kolek, bro, don't get me started. Don't get me started on Kolek, man. You look, if you follow, yo, and sub my page. Sub me right here, sub right now. Get switch up, sub to the channel, and then follow me on X, okay? I talk about Tyler all the time. Tyler the Creator, baby. We talk about Tyler all the time. I love the fact one of the best things I think Mike Brown has done is stretch the roster and the rotation. Shout out to all my Knicks fans who are staying on top of Tibbs, saying he needs to play more players. But what I will say, because I was always like, Tibbs know what he's doing, and he did. But Tibbs didn't have this level of talent that we have this season. We have enough players to cover the flaws of the players who may miss a layup or may have a bad few minutes. We have enough players now to cover the flaws of those players. But bro, even Tyler Kolek is in there really, I mean, with confidence, taking a shot, driving to the basket. You know, sometimes if you just got to give him enough reps and enough minute and enough covering, he's never on the floor without a star. You know, it's always at least a star or an impact player who can cover him, whether it's defensively or offensively. And high, you know, if somebody blows by him, you guarantee to probably have OG on the floor with him. You know what I mean? Or somebody who defensively can erase his mistakes. But even Tyler Kolek is balling. So shout out to you. Big Task at Hand also says, exactly, Mitch is being managed for the playoffs. Listen, keep the main thing, Knick fans. Leon Rose knows what he's doing. And there was a recent report. Shout out to, I'm not sure who brought it up, but shout out to whoever reported that Mike Brown has been in constant talks with Leon Rose about the roster and who plays and who doesn't. And it was that type of inclusion that Leon Rose probably wasn't getting from Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau ran a tight ship, and that's what he's known for. But Leon Rose to be able to come in and say, I need to see this for this player play and this person inside the lineup. What do you think? And for you to hear that Mike Brown leans on his other coaches too, you know, hey, draw up this play, let me watch. Draw up this play, let me see what you got. That's game changing. You know what I mean? Like, some people may look at that and be like, oh, that's a weakness. You remember they tried to put that label on Leon Rose because Leon Rose's approach was that, where he said, I'll sit and listen to, what do you feel about this move? How do you feel about this move? But he said, I make the decision at the end of the day. And if it doesn't work, I take the blame at the end of the day. And that seems to be Mike Brown's approach as well. It seems to be his approach as well. And for Leon Rose to have that level of input in who plays, you know, in the system or whatever have you, it's important for a couple of reasons. First, obviously, he's talking to basketball minds, so he may see something that maybe the coaching staff doesn't see. Some people may think it's too many hands in the pot. That could be argued. But you don't know if Leon Rose needs a player to get some shine because another team may have asked about him. How about that young player, Kolek, that point guard? If you want Giannis, we might need a point guard to build around. I want to see what he does. So when I hear reports that talk about Leon being involved in roster decisions in terms of who plays and who doesn't, he's long gaming. He is absolutely long gaming. So it's good to see. And for us, it shows us what we have. Maybe in an effort to play more people, we're like, oh, that's a skill set that we didn't know he had. We had this player go down. Let's insert him in. Let's get some real time. That's why I had somebody mention Dink Pate. I did a video recently on Dink Pate. And somebody was like, you know, Leon Rose, he never really goes for anybody. He never brings nobody up from the G League. What makes you think he's going to do it with this guy? First off, he's a 6'8" swing guard. I'm not going to get into that. This is Knicks Deli, but we're going to talk about Dink Pate at another time. But Leon Rose is playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. My guy Skills says Hart wore that Death Row Tupac outfit last night. I didn't see his fit last night. But yo, he wasn't playing any games, man. He went in there to hit him up. So shout out to you. My guy Brooklyn Buddha says, tell him she appreciate you, man. Yo, do me a favor, like this video if y'all like what y'all hear. Like this video. Shout out to y'all. And also remember, man, you can super chat now. I know I haven't lived in a while, but I believe you can super chat now. Super chat gets your comment to the top of the line. Who else do we have? What else do we have? Big Task at Hand says Josh Hart is the most improved player on the Knicks this season. The way he's shooting the three-point shot this season takes the Knicks to another dimension. Hart leaves open if you want to. I'm sorry, leave Hart open if you want to. Big Task, man, I need to give you part of the paycheck, bro. That is an absolute fact. What you love What I loved about Kobe Bryant, amongst other things, I really hated him while he was here because he reminded me of Jordan. He killed us like Jordan too. But I always respected him. And something I respected him about was he talked about every season going into the off season and adding something new to his game. Josh Hart came into the season with a broken hand issue, a broken finger issue. He had to get surgery on it. He had to get it reshifted. His metamorphosis in terms of his ability to be efficient from three and consistent in recent weeks from the 3-point line makes us so much more dangerous. It makes him a safe bet to be in the starting lineup. Who do you sag off of? Who do you drop coverage on? And once again, credit to you Knicks fans who was talking about needing a 3-and-D, a 3-and-D center or a center who can play offensively. Because back then it was talking about Karl-Anthony Towns or Miles Turner. And I used to issue on y'all all the time. Like, we got Big Mitch. But now I see how we toggle between those players. When you have a lineup where you can't leave nobody open. If it's not Brunson, it's Deuce. If it's not Deuce, it's Josh Hart. If it's not Josh Hart, it's McCall Bridges, it's OG, it's Cat. Who do you leave open? And when I talk about the balance, bro, we are balanced. If we want to run size appropriate players at each position, we could. If we want to go small, we could. If we want to go big, we could. If we want to go 2-point guards, we could. Bro, when I forget his name, who was the former GM, the guy with the salt and pepper hair, when he finally traded Porzingis and they interviewed him, he said, first and foremost, we want players here in New York who want to be here, period. We want players here in New York who want to be here, period. Scott? No, that's the other guy. But that tandem. That was the first thing he said when he traded Kristaps. The next thing he said, and Phil Jackson, I hate mentioning it, but he said it while he was here too. We want basketball players, interchangeable. That is where the league is headed. Knicks fans, it was painful at that time because we couldn't see it because we were so far in the weeds. But this is the dream of our forefathers, so to speak, where we have each player at different positions can play more than one. You could put Kolek at the 2. You could put Brunson at the 2. You could put Josh Hart at the, if needed, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what I mean? Like you could put Cat at the 4 or the 5. Probably Mitch is the only one that you could put him at, at the 5. We got so many players who have all around games. This is where we are. This is why we're going to be dangerous, fam. And we play fast now. Not only do you have the talent, but you add a system. It's stupid right now. And Josh Hart, for him to add the 3-point consistency, the man, bro, triple doubling like crazy. Past Clyde Frazier in triple doubles. Hart is a problem, bro. Like they don't know about us. They're going to know soon enough. Gibson says, if Cat can stay focused on as opposed to getting frustrated and playing inconsistently, I think we can win the East. There's moments where he is, frustrated. You know that. There's moments where he's inconsistent. But just to kind of go back to my point about the team being balanced, he's finally on a team where he has a cushion for it. Same thing with Tyler Kolek. If you out there, you don't have to be the dominant one. You don't have to be that second superstar. You remember our lady, Becky Hammonds? Oh, the Knicks don't have a 1A. They don't have a guy. You know what I mean? Brunson shut her up. But what we noticed is almost back to that time when the Brooklyn Nets had the big 3 and they asked, our team about it and said, we got a big 15. Ninja, we got a big 15. We got a big 15. You don't just got to lock in on 1 or 2 people and you shut them down, you shut us down. We got OG on any given night can be your leading scorer. Josh Hart on any given night can be your leading scorer. Cat on any given night can give you the 40. You're going to get buckets from everywhere. How you want it? Everybody eats here at Knicks Deli.
Everybody eats.
Where you going to get it from? We're going to feed you. We're going to feed you. So that's the beauty of it. We just need Cat to show up when the lights are brightest. And if he doesn't, pull down the rebounds, damn it. We got the type of team that we don't have to depend on him going for 40. So that's the difference. My guy Crime Dad says we need to Star Wars AT&T takedown on Wemby. Am I reading that right? We need to show a Star Wars AT&T takedown on Wemby. I don't know. We need to throw something at Wemby. Okay, if we need to ship some Star Wars, if we need Jabba the Hutt ass, we got to do something because Wemby is a mother flipping creator player on 2K. Wemby is a 2K creator player. All right, I'm gonna scroll. Oh, I got one more comment. Good job. Oh Lord, no, I don't. Okay, all right. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit. Let me see. Let me take my guy. Dorkosaurus Rex is here. He says one guy shorter than Tyler Kolek is in the whole NBA, Jose Alvarado. And every week we're talking about Jose Alvarado. Don't get it twisted, man. Jose Alvarado brings value. You know what I mean? In terms of another point guard ball handler. But I'm staying with Kolek all day, baby. Look, it's rare that, and when I say it's rare, it was rare prior to, I'd say, 6 years ago, that the Knicks didn't stick with, maybe draft, and then really try to work on and develop players. If we've traded players out, that means other teams value those players that we sent out, okay? You see what IQ is doing. You see what RJ is doing. You know, you see what Quentin Grimes is doing. We have players that we draft. We've given them foundation credit to Tibbs, and they've gone on to be successful elsewhere. I want to do the same thing with Tyler Kolek. I would love to see Tyler Kolek and Dink Pay as the backcourt after Brunson leaves. You know what I mean? I want those two to be our backcourt that we pass something on. They now know our system. We have a system that we just bring players into, they pick it up, and we win additional championships for. That's what I want, okay? I'm going to come back to some more of the comments. I just want to kind of move along a little bit and get to the Knicks drama of the game. Shout out to y'all. I'm glad that y'all are here. If you're new right now and you're listening, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, follow me on X as well. And super chats, I don't know if I see them in here, but that gets you a comment to the front of the line when I start going through the comments. Next up is going to be the Knicks drama of the game. And the Knicks drama of the game is that mid-game stretch where Brunson scored, OG hit a three, THUNDERKAT punished the mismatches. That was the Knicks announcing themselves. This ain't chaos. This is simply execution. We went in there letting them know, if you thought it was sweet in the summer, if you thought it was sweet in the early part of the season when you got those 2 wins, it ain't sweet no more. This ain't sweet no more. You're running into us at the right time. This is a buzzsaw. So all that little bully ball that you think you're doing, because what I notice about teams this season with the New York Knicks, and this is how you know that we are carrying the respect of a lot of teams, y'all. Knicks fans, they don't want to admit it, but the Knicks, when they come up against us, this is how you tell they respect us. They're trying to be more physical. They're trying to have like these, they trying to take the approach we took in the 90s. Maybe we're going to pound you into submission, you know. Maybe we might pound you into submission, okay? But bully you enough where you start rethinking your strategy if you go to a side of the floor. So whether it's a hard foul on Brunson, and something I loved about that little stretch, when Brunson scored, man, yo, bro, plays to the crowd. And tell me that wasn't a Knicks crowd last night in Vegas. I'm just saying. Plays to the crowd. But there was a hard foul that he had, I believe it was on Suggs. And instead, you know, the expectation was, oh, you know what I mean, good sportsmanship. Brunson looked at him like, you all right. You're going to be all right. You know what I mean? Everybody gets fouled hard, B. You know what I mean? Pull your skirt up. So I love that, man. It was that mid-game stretch where Brunson scored, OG hit a three, Thunderkat punished the mismatches. It was us announcing ourselves to the league, baby. We got one more game to win. All of you just like, the Knicks, they pound the ball. You ain't been watching no Knicks basketball. Once again, we switched from a TNT, and we got some other clowns in here who don't pay attention to what's going on. But you don't have to. We'll just show you. All right, so that's the Knicks drama of the game. Let me see if I can get a couple more comments before I talk about my takeaway. Shout out to you all for joining me, man. It's snowing outside. Ain't no better place to be but here. Ain't no better place to be but here. You know, everybody eats. I'm going to feed all of you. All of you. So we're going to go to my guy, Randall, who says salute to the chat. Shout out to you, Randall. We got my guy. Big task at hand. It was Steve Mills. Steve Mills and Steve Perry. Scott Perry, shout out to them cats, because although they didn't have they couldn't do what it is they were talking about doing. They were talking about doing it early, positionless basketball, getting basketball players. So players like a Josh Hart, who if you need rebounding from him, he got you. You need scoring from him, he got you. You know, you need him to play, run, open the fast break. I love that. Very smooth. I don't know who said it, but he stole the ball, and broke out a fast break. And they said a heart attack to the rim. I was just like, all right, I see y'all. I see what y'all doing. Y'all recognizing us for who we are. You know what I mean? But shout out. Those are the type of players that Steve Mills and Scott Perry were envisioning us doing. All right. Somebody new who I see to the chat, my guy, David Smith. Shout out to you, David Smith. He says, bad day for cat haters and false narratives about the defense and not showing up for big games and against good teams. Absolute fact. What can they say? And that's another reason why you love this tournament. You love this tournament because, like the playoffs, they always say, you get all-stars in the regular season, but you get superstars. You get stars in the playoffs and you get superstars in the finals. Okay? You mark your stamp of those type of labels in different parts, but there's a new wrinkle added this tournament. Because if we remember last year, Halliburton and the Pacers had a hell of a run in the tournament. They didn't even win, but the style of play that they were playing and the way Halliburton was talking his talk in that tournament, it really gave him some momentum as somebody to watch when he went into the playoffs. And that's what I know is happening for the Knicks as well. You know what I mean? So, yeah, those cats with the narratives, they were down bad last night. They were down bad. David also says Cat getting only 1 field goal attempt is unacceptable. 11 field goal attempts is unacceptable for a player with his talent, and this formula won't work in the playoffs. Knicks have to get Towns more involved in the offense for the Knicks. Good point, but Knicks fans, keep this in mind. If you break down the season in four quadrants, there's the first 20 games, and then there's the second 20 games. And then after All-Star break, third, and then the fourth set of the 20 games. We haven't even installed everything we're going to do. You can't put all of your cards on the table right away. So incrementally, it's allowing teams to get accustomed to a system. Still, this is Mike Brown's first season. So there's elements in terms of the season. It has ebbs and flows. You really have to get through a full season with Mike Brown to know what to expect. So at the same time, they're still filling out each other. Mike Brown is still filling out and discovering what he has. And the case in point with that is Josh Hart. At the beginning of the season, Josh Hart was grumbling like, yo, bro, you're not using me. And the fact of the matter is Mike Brown didn't know what he had. It's one thing to watch film from afar because you have to focus on the team you're coaching. So you really may not know who Josh Hart is. But to see him in action and realize who he has, because of Leon Rose said, yo, you need to play this kid more. Now he sees it. So y'all gotta provide some grace for this team, the players for the coaches and the coaches for the players, the front office for the coaches and the players to get on the same page. We just gotta watch this season unfolds. But you're right, you got some good points. Let me see who else we have. I'm gonna do one more comment and then I'm gonna get back into it. Let me see who else we have. Shout out to you guys. Something new here. My man, American Brother 21 says, Magic fan here. Congratulations on the advancing to the NBA Cup final. I hope the Magic meet y'all in the playoffs for a phenomenal playoff series, becoming quiet rivals, evolving quickly. Shout out to you first and foremost as a Magic fan coming in here. We appreciate you. We feed you. We feed the ops as well. Everybody eats, baby. And we see y'all. I don't know if you was here when I was talking about the Magic earlier. We see you guys. And we respect y'all. We know, I was just saying that Ben Carroll, we think because he's young, he don't really realize how much of a problem he's going to be for the league just yet. Right now, he just wants to play good basketball, and he almost wants to hide in the background. I think Bane right now is a veteran that's kind of introducing the type of tone that the Magic should have in the future. But the moment Ben Carroll starts realizing his final form and who he is, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem for all of us. But we'll be ready for it because y'all see what we're doing over here as well. But shout out to y'all, Franz Wagner. Sorry about your guy. But once again, something that shows that your squad is on point. Your squad is on pace and they're classy. Franz Wagner posted a picture of himself and Huck Porty. You know what I mean? To kind of show like, yo, bro, you know, this ain't on you. This is just part of the game. So respect to the Magic fans who are here as well. My guy, Agent Super Argo. What's going on, my guy? Good to see you, bro. I forgot. Yo, all my family are coming back from the live, man. My KD community. Stay with me. I appreciate you. He says, if anyone wants to know why the Magic players are getting injured, just look at how they try to play bully ball with the entire league. It's taking a toll on these clowns for sure. Look, I just went from giving them love. But this is New York. This is how New York works. We're going to give you love, but we're going to call you out for what it is. And it's not just the Magic. It's a lot of teams. You know, it's teams like Detroit. You know, shout out to Detroit. They're having a good season as well. But, and that's part of their DNA. You know, you can't stray too far from your DNA. That's part of their DNA, so they got a little bit of an excuse. But when they play against a team like us, and they know what we're known for, they know we hang our hat on defense, but we've pivoted a little bit, and we're offense. We're now starting to get the recognition. They want to come in and disrupt some things for us. So it's kind of right at this point, kind of what we can expect. Man, you guys are on fire in the chat. I don't think I can get I can't get through all of them right now. But let me get back to tying this thing up. What is my takeaway? Shout out to you all. Remember to hit that like button as you come in and as you leave. My takeaway of the game is pretty much this, y'all. This wasn't a hot night for us, but it was a team that understands our leverage. Now comes Tuesday. And Tuesday we'll have an opportunity to turn some of this belief into like real silverware. We got Wemby, you know, and the Spurs that are coming in. Just to kind of summarize how we got here, we had the semifinal dominance. Okay, this felt different than a regular season win. This felt like a playoff. You know what I mean? Like, y'all tell me if I'm off. This felt like a playoff game. It was high intensity. You could tell from the announcers that they were surprised on both teams. It was haymakers back and forth. It was Suggs and Brunson. You know, it was steals. Every time the Magic made a little bit of a run, we stomped it out. That was a beautiful thing to see. We kept the foot on the pedal for the squad, and we closed out as we should, you know. And it was the stars that was out. You know, you had Dirk, you had Blake Griffin, you know, Steve Nash. You had high level people on the sidelines. It was just phenomenal. You had GP in the crowd. You know what I mean? Watching the game, bro. It really, you know, Knicks fans, we've waited for days like this. You know, we really have. Many of us may be different ages. I'm for sure. Yo, I've been waiting for days like this to get the spotlight and for our team to look so confident. We look confident, okay? I think for looking at the game that's coming up, and we're coming up on an hour, so I don't want to be too long. I appreciate you guys for rocking with me And this is telling me that I probably got to do more lives, y'all. Y'all are with me. I love doing the videos because I could just post them and send them. Over the next maybe month or so, I'll have more time to be more consistent. But anyway, so I'll try to have more lives because I need y'all energy as well. But when we're looking at the finals, let's look at these Spurs. Let's look at the finals, right? Brunson, this is what I'm expecting from Jalen, from Cat, from the Brunson. Tempo control, okay? As long as he continues to do what he's doing. I love that post-game interview that he had with the fellas. He said, where I excel is that I feel nobody can speed me up. I set my own tempo. I set my own tone for the game. I set my own speed. This is something I've worked towards all my life. So for him, it's going to be important. For us, it's going to be important for him to have tempo control. Also, when it comes to that point in time, the late game decision-making is going to be critical. He tends to do which is what makes him a superstar. He tends to do the right thing at the right time in those moments. But it's going to be extra important for him to do that because I'm positive, like the OKC game, that this thing is going to go down to the wire. And when it does, he needs to show the league as well as the Spurs why he's built for this moment. The same way he did against Detroit, where he hit that little, step into it, 3-point shot to kill all their dreams. He shows up. Big-time players show up in big-time games. And I believe that's what it's going to come down to in terms of Jalen Brunson. That's what we should expect from him. What should we expect from Big Purr? What should we expect from THUNDERKAT? I think interior pressure is going to be needed from him in this Spurs game, right? I think he needs to really, just as much as we are locked in and focused on trying to contain Wembanyama, we're going to need what somebody earlier mentioned in terms of production from him. It's going to be important because Wembanyama can't have an easy night just on one end, although he is alien elite on both sides of the basketball, offensive and defense. But we still need to make the young fella work. And Cat in the past against Wembanyama has been able to get his game off. So we're going to need that interior pressure from him as well. Free throw gravity. We need to hit our free throws in this finals game. You know what I mean? We can't afford to leave any points on the table. And we need to ask ourselves, what happens if defense is overhelped? How do we respond that way, in terms of Cat? What I love is sometimes they'll run up on him on a three-point line and he just drives. So that level of versatility in his attack is going to be critical for this game. We got to keep him guessing. Also, in terms of this outcome and whether or not we win a championship, defense wins championships. As period. As pretty as our offense has looked, this season with the speed and everybody's like, ooh, ah. We gotta go to our bread and butter for this cup win. The defense wins championships, and we have enough of that to win this cup. Let's start with the defensive demon. Sets the tone for everything. Him and Mitch. OG's versatility, whether he's switching off on a point guard, down to a 4, up to a 3, slide over to a 2, hands disrupting passing lanes, jumping out on the break, catching lobs, blocking shots. Defense, a healthy OG is a mother flipping problem for everybody else. So we need OG to do what OG does. Set the tone for all of us. And then right there next to him, money mother flipping making Mitch. Mitch better have my money. Let's go. Mitchell Robinson has to be a determining factor in this cup game. Whether it's pushing Wemby out, switching off, he needs to be disruptive at the rim. He needs to be an absolute rim deterrent, which also means he needs to stay out of foul trouble. Play cleanly, slide. The more the season goes along, the more in shape he gets, but his lateral movement, even as Big Mitch, is still there. You know what I mean? So we definitely going to need OG to set the tone, Mitch to be right there with him. But more importantly, in terms of our defensive angle to winning this game, is going to be Hustle Kings chaos. Josh Hart, the Lion Heart. We need to bring his Lion Heart. We need him to be the Hustle King. We need him to cause chaos in this game. Rebounding, steals, taking charges, playing high-level elite defense, just being all over the floor as he does, hitting three-point shots. I know that's not defense, but that keeps defenses honest. We need that from him in the cup game. You know, those are three components that I think if we bring those to the table, I don't know, we're going to know how to act with a little bit of a cup championship that's going to be a precursor to June, you know? So in essence, I think those are the things on the defensive side that we need to bring. Now, what might you think are the X factors that might be the difference in helping us get this victory? One, I think Bridges. I also want to do a video on Mikal Bridges because right now in his second season, now we start to see his comfort level. He's comfortable now. He's comfortable now. He's confident now. He got a swagger now. And I think his continuing to space the floor for us and his unlimited endurance, the man is the Iron Man of the league right now, that's going to be critical. The next thing that's going to be critical are the bench minutes. How productive when they come in are Clarkson. He needs to step up. Yabusele, if we can get some great moments from him, that's good. If we can get Tyler Kolek to continue to spell Jalen Brunson, but be effective and impactful in those minutes as well, that's going to be key for us in terms of an X factor. And the last X factor I'm going to talk about is the foul discipline. With a player like Wemby, who you know is damn near unguardable, we need to be mindful not to get Mitch in early foul trouble, not to get Cat in early foul trouble, not to have them in a space where they're playing tentative and they're not playing their natural games, you know, in this cup win. In this cup win, that's right. So, you know, 40 and slip, that's ultimately what it is. We plan on getting this win, but we can't be distracted. And I will end on this before I go to the chat and see your comments and then close this thing out. Legacy moment. This is an opportunity for a legacy moment. What does winning a cup mean for the New York Knicks? Why does it matter for Brunson and this core and the Knicks culture? This is if the New York Knicks win this cup, y'all, and put your comments in the chat. What do you think it means? Real quick, what would it mean for the New York Knicks to win this cup? Because I think what it would mean is it announces us to the league. I don't care what you've been told. I don't care who you think we were. We the Knicks, bitch. You remember Rick James saying that? Like, I don't know what you've been told. I'm Rick James, bitch. We the Knicks, bitch. And we're not your father's New York Knicks. Okay, where you could clown us or you think ESPN is going to get their rocks off on talking about us. It's different, bruh. And if you haven't watched us, you need to ask about us. Because what we're going to do is we're going to score on you from every side of the floor. Then we're going to lock it down. Then we're going to steal the basketball, and then Cat is going to throw it on your face. All y'all talking about, you know, he's sweet or whatever have you. You say what you will. Say what you will. You can't beat sweetness. You can't beat sweetness. You know what I mean? This is a legacy moment. This is a moment where we're saying right now we're even at the top of the conference. You know, we got the clutch player of the year on our roster. So this is a legacy moment. We're part of the early chains of champions who could take this cup. And then if it leads to an NBA championship, that's another thing. This matters for Brunson because it shows in a big time spot what he does. Can he close the deal? You know, people become more realistic about a championship in June if they see what he can do in big spots. That's why Halliburton had so much momentum in terms of his reputation going into the playoffs. Because people were talking about him when he had that run. It was like, oh, yo, that kid Halliburton kind of dope. you know, and that's when his name started to be simultaneous in some circles elevate over Brunson's because of what he showed in that run of his during the Cup tournament where he was talking his talk and backing it up. So this is an opportunity for Brunson to do the same thing. For our core, it's an opportunity for them to get some spotlight, for them to get some shine too. You know, like, yo, this is what we do. Brunson got backup. You think you're gonna come in here and target him? Nah, son, you got to come over here and see us first. You know, this is Wingstop, baby. This is Batman and Superman, baby. You got to get through us to get the cap. Nah, son, nah. You wildin'. You got to get through us first, okay? And this, in terms of our culture, man, a big part of our culture is the fans, is us. Shout out to the Magic fan who's in here with us. And you let me know if you vouch for us, if you still here. Shout out to you. Let me know you still here in the building. You see we go everywhere. I know you sick of us seeing us come to Orlando. I know you hear us call Orlando, you know, what is it? You know, Madison Square Garden South. Because we travel, man. They try to talk about Knicks fans being obnoxious. Yeah, we are, bruh. They try to talk about Knicks fans thinking we know everything. Yeah, we kind of think we do know everything. There's no cap in that right there. We do, yeah, that's kind of us. But we're loyal. We love our squad. We support our squad. We part of the squad. And the culture here is why, and you see how the players engage with us. Players will surprise you. They'll call up on KFTV, you know, with CP the franchise. Shout out to CP. Shout out to all the content creators. Shout out to Into the Knicks Verse. Shout out to Raw Hebrew Remnant. Shout out to all my cats. I'm a fan first. That's why they all welcome here too. Everybody eats. But this is the culture that you find here with the New York Knicks that many other opposing fans don't know much about. They don't know how deep we roll. They just hear us show up and take over cities like Philly. Many people are scared to go up in Philly. Philly, our little brothers. That's why they're so shocked and surprised when New York goes over there and takes over the city, spills into the lobby, saying, let's go Knicks. This is the culture. And it's not just solely for the fans to see and experience. Now you see players are noticing it. They were running from the spotlight, not realizing the impact of Knicks fans, not realizing if you tough enough and honest enough with yourself where you think you could come in and help change this around, we ready to love you. That's where LeBron went wrong. Yeah, he got his championships, but he'll be forever. Listen, if he was able to convince two of his friends to do what he did in Miami and New York, he wouldn't get the same level of criticism. Simply because you know the pressure cooker that is New York. There's no pressure in Miami. There's no pressure cooker in Miami. But if you would have did that in New York, your whole narrative would be different. We talking about legacy. Your legacy would be different if you came and you brought that and you did that in New York. But you didn't. And because you didn't, and you didn't like that narrative about you being scared, then you tried to ish on us for the next 20 years, bottle flipping on the floor. How disrespectful. You already got the win. And then you're going to sit there with Richard Jefferson, corny looking ass, and you're going to bottle flip on Madison Square Garden while the game is still playing? You will never get respect from New York. And that's another thing. We recognize real. If you're good, we're going to shout you out. But if you're a lame, you're going to always be a lame, whether you got a chip or not. And that's the authenticity that you get, and that's what players are starting to see. I couldn't wait for that Curry, LeBron James, KD era to be over. It's over. It's over. And there's a new era that's being ushered in. And the New York Knicks are part of that conversation. All we need is to get a championship, and we are the new era. We are the new era. So you want to talk about legacy? You got Giannis now talking about the only team he wants to be traded to is the New York Knicks. What are we talking about? And the main reason he talked about it was the fans. What are we talking about? So you let them hype you up and say, oh, the New York Knicks fan, who's the worst fans in sports? You know y'all lying. I know you lying. If you ever try to say worst fans in sports with New York, you stupid. Because Giannis know New York Knicks fans remind him of them international soccer player fans. We'll burn this mother flipper down. We burn this mother flipper down.
Knicks Deli Edition.
Here at Knicks Deli. Okay? So it's about legacy. It will go a long way to let everybody know we here and we ain't going nowhere. And I've been saying for years, don't let the New York Knicks get the microphone. It's going to be a wrap for the rest of the league for a long time. And we here, okay? I'm going to take about 5 of these comments and I'm going to close this thing down because I got to clean my apartment, all right? So what y'all talking, man? Y'all matching my energy? Y'all matching my vibe? What y'all think about this game coming up? How y'all feel? Let me see if I can get somebody who I haven't spoken to or heard from yet. Shout out to you once again. Do me a favor, hit the like button on here. I need some likes, y'all. I need some likes. Okay. My guy, let's see. My guy DB Yashurin says, nah, this is the Avengers. Yes, this is the Avengers. Not no Superman, Batman. We the Avengers, baby. Shout out to you. My guy, Demarion, let's go. Says salute Knicks Nation. Yeah, salute to everybody in the chat, man. Everybody in the chat, salute to you. My guy also, yo, I'm old as hell, man. Y'all got to pardon me. My vision is terrible. Okay. Agent Super Argo says, if the Knicks win the cup, it's a message, but also a forecast for the championship playoffs. 1,000%, my guy. 1,000%. Let's go, DB. Yashurin says, cat over Giannis. For sure. For sure. Let me see. David Smith says Giannis's bad knees, hurt more often lately, can't shoot the three, can't space the floor. 3 first-round exits in a row. His team is an 11-15 record currently. That's okay. Knicks title contenders now. Yo, bro, you out here spitting facts, bro. You are out here spitting facts. He says Giannis can't win with his own team. Yep, let me get 2 more, and then I'm going to close this thing out. I want to appreciate y'all. I want to thank y'all for rocking with me. I know you guys are going to enjoy the rest of your day. Some of you guys have to shovel snow. But I'm not running to get out there. Respect. Dokosaurus Rex says respect for Franz Wagner. Prayers up. Yeah, man. Nobody want to see nobody get injured. So respect goes to the young fella. Hope you guys heal up over there, and we'll see how it goes. Last comment. Let's see. We can get Gibson here. He says, Banquero has a younger brother in high school right now who is nice. He goes to Rainier Beach. Yo, shout out to his young bro, man. We'll keep an eye on him as well. Yo, I also want to give a special shout out to Cayenne Anthony. Shout out to Cayenne Anthony, man. Yo, listen, Knicks fans, you know that's our guy. 2 guys we want to keep an eye on because 10 to 20 years from now, not 10, damn, 5 to 10 years to 15 years from now, we're going to be asking them to come to New York. Cayenne Anthony is one of them. He knows, like his pops, he wasn't afraid to follow his footsteps to go to Syracuse. Hopefully he wins a championship. I like the young fella. He's ours, man. We saw him grow up. And the same thing I think would apply. The man is going to wear orange and blue. So his game is much. We're going to see how his game develops. It's tough to see what type of game he has, how similar it will be to his pops. But I welcome with open arms, man. Hopefully he can come in and do it a little bit differently and get more success than his father did in a blue and orange jersey. The other side of it is Julius Randle's son. He's going to be a wild card, man. I think he's going to be a power player. I think he's going to be similar to his pops, but I think he's going to come in and punish the league for what we did to his pops. So I think he will always be a Knicks fan. So hopefully he will want to play here with us. But I think if he gets drafted, if he becomes a beast, he's going to be trying to punish us because Knicks fans was like, what we did to his pops. So All right, yo. Thank y'all for a great show, man. I'm looking forward to reading the different comments. I'm sorry. I missed the comments. Oh, man, my bad. Okay. Sorry I missed the comments. I see you guys are going in. But I will also let you know the next time I go live, more than likely it's going to be after. It'll be the morning after the Cup game. And I'm going to be ready to talk my talk. So, we need to win this Cup, get this Cup, and it's going to be crazy for like the next week after that. But keep this in mind, same thing applies to life that applies to our team. If there's no struggle, there's no progress. Also remember this, whether it's out there in the real world or here in these YouTube streets, here in Knicks Deli, baby.
Everybody eats.
I'm your boy, Sheer, and I'm out. Peace. Have a good day, y'all.